told him who I was.
Steve to announce you?
No, Jimmy James is going to announce.
He's going to announce you. Okay, fine.
All right, and without further ado, I'm just going to kindly return to your seats for the second part of our program. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, the man, the myth, the legend, the first and current president of the Queens Village Republican Club, Phil Ornstein.
Okay, thank you, Jimmy James. Is everybody having a good time? We won! Everybody, we won! Okay, everybody take your seats. All right, this is the... Everybody sit down, sit down.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we are about to begin the second part, the second half of our program. If you kindly find your seats, we do appreciate it. As I said earlier, the last person standing has to pay the bar bill. We're going to pay the bar bill? So once again, we kindly ask you to find your seats. We're all going to Joe Concannon's house for the after party, so we're plenty of time to chit-chat later. He grows great barbecues. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the president of the Queens Village Republican Club celebrating 150 years, Phil Ornstein.
All right, thank you. This is the part of the program where we say thank you to some special people in the room, some dignitaries, VIPs, and if I miss anybody, invariably someone gets angry at me at the end of the day, but please don't get angry. We love everyone. This is a great group of friends, patriots. We're all united for the same cause, for America, for our values, for our President Trump. So if I miss you, don't get mad at me. So first of all, I want to take a moment to acknowledge my wife, first of all, for putting up with me for the past 3 months. Alma, she's over there. Stand up, Alma. Let everybody see your beautiful face.
And Phil, don't forget about the 40-something years that came before.
Oh, my gosh. She put up with me for so long. I love you, honey. And I want to thank also some very special people in the room. It's the board of directors and the Ways and Means Committee for the Lincoln Dinner, putting together this amazing program, working day and night, sleepless nights, a dedicated, wonderful group of patriots. So all please stand up and take a bow. Big thank you and kudos to the board of directors and the Ways and Means Committee of the Queens Village Republican Club. And of course, we have Mayor Giuliani here with us tonight. And our thanks go to America's Mayor, Rudy Giuliani, for saving New York. We owe you so much. And we also have the next mayor of New York City here with us, Curtis Lewer, and we're going to hear a few words from him later. We have the best mayor and the next mayor. We also have with us a great friend, Mike Ambrose, from Oasis Bakery and Oasis Cafe on Northern Boulevard. He made pastries and baked for Trump Tower and for President Trump. And I met him when I walked into his cafe with my MAGA hat. We became instant friends. And he wants to, he's expanding all over New York, all over the city. and he wants to make a special contract with Elon Musk to have the first Oasis bakery in space. I know some people said Elon was going to be here today. I don't know. Elon, are you here? I don't know. Jerry Manicata is here, a dear, dear friend of ours, of our club for many, many years, and the historian and advisor for our club. Nicholas Chikadze is here. He's a board member and the president of the Georgian American Republican Alliance. He's here with many people from the Georgian American Republican Alliance, and he's a true freedom fighter against Soviet communism from the country of Georgia. Nicholas. James Dukas is our videographer. Let's give him a hand. He videotapes all our club meetings during the year. Thank you, James. We also have the Korean American Republican Assembly is here. I think they're at table 31. We also have Chairman Reverend Daniel Ulysses, a longtime friend, Daniel, with his entourage here. And we have the Asian American Republican group here. Mary Glenn is here, the president of the Rockaway Club, and the members of the great Rockaway Club. It's really growing. They're really growing. Jude Ellie is here. Jude, again, is a candidate for president of Haiti, the next president of the country of Haiti, and he's here with his friends and supporters. Bill Richards is here. He's the founder of Tower Beverage, and he's here with some of the employees of Tower Beverage, and he's a proud supporter of the Tunnel to Tower Foundation. So we never forget the sacrifices of our great police and firefighters. And we have one of them here with us tonight who rushed into the burning building to save lives, Lou Caccioli. Lou, stand up. Lou is a retired firefighter, FDNY, Engine 47. And like so many other firefighters and police officers, he rushed into the buildings when they were crumbling, and they crumbled, and he was caught in the smoke and debris, but he saved 40 lives. He led them out, and he is with us today. God bless you, Lou. He also was with Rudy Giuliani at that time, and thanks to our mayor, he led New York City back to rebuild after the terrorist attack on 9/11. We will never forget you, Lou. Thank you. God bless you. And also, there's a memento on every table, the beverage, a sparkling water beverage from Tower Beverages. A percentage of the proceeds of all sales of Tower Beverages goes to the Tunnel to Tower Foundation. Thank you, Tower Beverages. There's also another giveaway at your table. It's the mugs. It's a commemorative mugs of our 150th anniversary. And we have the great Richard Valdez at the Tunnel to Tower table. America at Night is his program, and he's with us today. By the way, he's also Mark Levin's call screener. He's a great friend of our club. He once tried to run against AOC, I believe. We had a lot of fun with that. Yeah. And we have some long time members of the Queens Village Republican Club. Before me, we have Jim Trent here, our past chairman. Jim, stand up. Jim Jim is here, Jim Trent, and Mary Moda, Naomi Sika, and Charles Kaiser, long time members over 40 years with the Queens Village Republican Club. And I think Frank Morano is still in the room. If not, anyway, it was great to see Frank Morano. Please contribute and support his campaign in the special election for City Council to take Joe Borelli's seat, who recently retired. Nick Giordano is here. Nick is a professor of political science at Suffolk Community College, the host of the PAS report, and he's a teacher to all of us. And I want to give a special shout out to John Eastman. John Eastman is here. He's President Trump's former attorney who stood with President Trump to stop the steal. And just like Mayor Giuliani, he's been targeted and lambasted and vilified by the left. But those days are over now, and we're going to support them. And we're going to support both. John Eastman is having a fundraiser tomorrow night at the America First warehouse for his legal defense. So you can see the information on our website, qvgop.org. They pick on the wrong guys, yeah. And for Rudy's legal defense, everyone should have at their seat the QR code to log on to Rudy Giuliani's legal defense fund. So please contribute as much as you can to Rudy Giuliani's legal defense. Let's show him how much we love him and how much we are grateful for saving New York City. Our city, New York City. Keon Marshall is here, the leader of Justice in America. All right, Marshall. Tricia Lindsay, our dear friend, and past Lincoln dinner honoree. She recently ran for state senate to challenge the tyranny in Albany. Sarah Carpenter is here. She's an innocent political prisoner of January 6th. And she's here with us because she was recently pardoned by President Trump. Sarah. Thank you. I want to thank the team at Project Civica. We have here Kim Hernandez, Daniel Casas, Eric Holtz, and other team members of the great organization of our Master of Ceremonies here, of course, Steve Gillen. They're all here working to fight for New York State and working today with us here in Queens, our hometown, to turn Queens red, and New York State as well. Thank you for the generosity of our sponsors, for your support for this great event. John Ahern. Thank you, John, with your friends, Jimmy Wagner. Thank you, John, for all you do. The Epic Times, Marie and David Zier, Wilson Chang, U.S. Trump Store. They're back there. Get some Trump gear before you leave. Naviga Group, and many more who donated to the success of this great event, our 150th anniversary celebration. Lisa Azzarelli is here. Lisa! Save Our Schools, SOS. Kathy Donahoe is here, the president of Bridge to Life. We honored her last year in Bridge to Life last year. There's still time to get some raffles from her. She's leading the charge to sell the raffle tickets. And our dear friend Robert Gollum is here. Robert, stand up. Stand up, Robert. He's our friend of many, many years who overcame and recovered from a devastating aneurysm. And he's here today, you know, not pulling any punches, right, Robert? You know? Okay, Elaine Deborah Kim is here. Elaine Kim, many of us know, but now her name is Deborah. And also we're going to be treated to her group of Korean folk dancers, and we're going to do the Korean Zumba dance later. So get ready. And also we have here in the back our monthly publication, the Queens County Beacon, our newspaper. So make sure you grab a copy, take a bunch, and give it out. Help us spread the word of freedom in our community. Faith, family, freedom, and our conservative values. And that's the vehicle to get the word out. So grab those newspapers on your way out there by the back table. And thank you, everybody. I'm sorry if I missed anyone, but you're all VIPs today. Thank you very much.
All right, as we continue on with the program, now it is my honor to introduce the CEO of the Epoch Times, Janice Trey. The Epoch Times is a publication I have come to read and trust in the past few years. There are articles about not only Communist China Party, but the stories with insight about American situations that the mainstream media just does not explain. Janice's story is amazing. At just 9 years old, Janice survived her entire life to that point, facing the horror of the Chinese labor camps during the Mao Zedong Cultural Revolution. That's amazing. Today, she leads the Epoch Times as CEO, championing the fight against Communist China Party's CCP propaganda with fearless, truthful reporting. Trey's story is a testament to the power of the human spirit and the transformative promise of the American dreams. As CEO of the Epoch Times, what a mission to expose the CCP, their campaign of human rights abuse and global influence strategies. Her leadership has expanded the paper's global reach and amplifies the voice in defeat of truth. I give you Janice Trey.
Thank you, everyone. Out of 8 billion people, I want to thank you for spending the time, your commitment for freedom. Like President Lincoln, we stand for liberty, equality, and justice. We fight for a future where opportunity is available to all, where freedom of speech, freedom of expressions, and freedom of press is protected, and where every American's voice matters. Throughout histories, the accuracy of information has determined the success and failure of nations and battles. You know, one-party regimes understand the power of controlling media, like the Chinese Communist Party, whereas us, the democracies, rely on informed citizenry. However, without honest journalism, elections could be manipulated and the will of the people undermined. It's an honor and a privilege to lead the Epoch Times. For Epoch Times has been established a quarter century ago by elite Chinese Americans who fled communism's oppressions. In first-hand experience of the Cultural Revolutions, the Tiananmen Square Massacre, and some of those who have family and relatives experienced the persecution of Falun Gong. A peaceful practice based on truthfulness, compassion, forbearance, alongside gentle exercises and Buddhist meditations. While the CCP targets the Christians, the Tibetans, and the Uyghurs, but the persecution of Falun Gong is the most severe. claiming hundreds of thousands of lives and destroying millions of families. As a child laborer during forced labor camps, during the Cultural Revolutions, I could have died of hunger. I could have died as a child laborer. I grew sugar cane for the school. I picked up crops from the crop fields, worked hours by foot on the crop fields during harvest seasons as they use hand tools to harvest. And I could not return to the school if I don't fill up a full bag of crops that I picked from the field. And it took 1.5 hours by foot walking to the nearest school each way, as a first grader, second grader, third grader. The fact that I am alive in front of you, as I could have died during Cultural Revolutions, during Tiananmen Square massacre, or possibly persecuted, with the Falun Gong persecutions. But luckily, my father, who's an engineer, knows that Einstein believes in God. So he sent me to a Christian school in Hong Kong, and that's why I survived. I am determined to give a voice to all the voiceless and bring religious freedoms to all. The Epoch Times began as a Chinese language publication. However, it has grown to 35 countries and 22 languages. Our mission is to bring truth, tradition, and hope to every corner of the world, to millions. As a 501c3 nonprofit, the Epoch Times is primarily funded by your subscriptions. We are accountable to you and you only. Unlike other media that's funded by super rich individuals or influenced by governments, we are independent and we are accountable to our subscribers. And this is really important. Despite all the threat earlier, people in my table asked about the threats, and I show her the picture where the tire of a rental car, I just have events and evening events, and then they not only put a nail, but they put screw to the tire. And the tire pressure dropped to 8 on a highway. Imagine. But that does not stop me. And in an era of rising misinformation and censorship, the Chinese Communist Party has infiltrated in every facet of societies into the legacy media and imposes ideologies even on United States soil. The Epoch Times counters the threat with news rooted in truth and moral integrity and exposing the Chinese Communist Party's subversions. Despite immense pressure, physical, cyber attack, we remain committed to reporting the truth. During the COVID lockdowns, the Epoch Times experienced tremendous growth as we broke key stories. As a matter of fact, reported the pandemic in December 2019, where many of our subscribers were able to get N95 masks, the masks that are used in surgical rooms, at regular price, plenty of supplies in pharmaceutical stores. And our subscribers who were traveling in China changed their return tickets to an earlier date, and they avoided the lockdown. Unfortunately, their colleagues and relatives who did not change the return flights, many of those never make it back because they die of COVID in China. So timely information saves lives. We started 25 years ago. In fact, it's the 2003, the SARS respiratory disease. We reported the pandemic 3 weeks before Beijing admitted. We were 4 to 6 weeks before any major media in the world. In fact, we pushed the Beijing regime to admit the existence of the pandemics. So again, it's so important. And our Epoch Health session, we have produced 14,000 articles, including in-depth coverage of the vaccine risks and the side effects, often at the cost of being demonetized by the big tech and suppressed by search engines. We are still suppressed by the search engines, And so please spread the words about Epoch Times so others know about it. Now, Epoch Times is one of the top 5 newspapers by subscription in the United States. We send out, thank you. We send out newsletter to over 5.5 million readers daily. And we develop our own tool to send emails because the vendors who send emails were interfered by the communist regimes and blockers, so we have our own tools. We also have our own tools that circumvent the firewall in China that's called the Free Gates and Ultra Surf, and feel free to share with your friends in China by a free download of Free Gates and Ultra Surf. They can access the internet that you and I share on US soils rather than the censored versions inside China. That's how our readers inside China access the Epoch Times and other important information. In fact, our Chinese edition is the most widely and the largest circulation Chinese language paper outside China. So for anyone who really want to engage with the Chinese citizens or want to advertise to the huge populations, we have a solution for you. And because we are the trusted source, in fact, during earthquakes, they came to our websites because they know we reported the truth, whereas the communist government is trying to hide the information. Because for the Communist Party, it's its own survival, and they try to conceal information. They worry about foreign investments will leave China. And our sister organization, New Tang Dynasty Television and DDTV, which I'm also the CEO, has been broadcasting independent news to 15 million US households, 20 million in the UK, and our Chinese editions through 4 satellites have a reach of 100 million people. We've been providing the American voice for 25 years. We provide simultaneous translations of the presidential debates, the president elections, and the inaugurations. And it's so important because the totalitarian regimes do not want the citizen to know about elections, to know about freedom. So we've been sharing the American values to billions of people. Since 2003, the People's Chinese, the Liberation Armies in China, they have launched 3 warfare: the psychological warfare, the legal warfare, and also the opinion warfare using media and social medias. And in fact, there's also a book called Americas Against Americas by the Chinese Politburo. So be aware, when you see the chaos in Korea, it was Korea against Korea. When you saw the interference in election in Taiwan, it was Taiwan against Taiwan. So the Americas against Americas is very real. Give you examples. The New York Times has published, 11 hit pieces against the Shenyang Performing Arts, which is a beautiful, beautiful performance. And the New York Times has been recycling propaganda from the Chinese Communist parties because the Shenyang Performing Arts, they show China before communism. You learn more by attending this performance than traveling to China, because when you step on China, you see architectures, but you have no idea how people live, what are their values. And you will find that in the Shenyang Performing Arts, which is at Lincoln Center's, March 26 to April 13 in the State Theater in New Jersey, on March 22nd, 23rd, and March 7th and 8th in Stamford, Connecticut. Even more troubling is the recent threats of violence against Falun Gong communities, including bomb threats, assassination attempts, and threat of mass shootings. Such form of transnational repressions require the work from Department of Justice, Departments of State, and Department of Homeland Security to combat the threat from the Chinese Communist Party. And let us all send a strong message to Xi Jinping Americans do not want the exploitation or persecution of Falun on American soil. Here we are champions of freedoms. We are champions for liberty and justice. The United States remains a beacon of hope for free will, and we must defend religious liberty, traditional values, and national security. Back in 1989, President Reagan said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall." Today, our challenge is to dismantle the China digital firewall and bring truth in and out of China. And the Epoch Times play a critical role for this, and we're standing in solidarity with Chinese citizens longing for freedoms. So together, we can end communism in our times, and we can end persecution, restore freedoms for every corners of the world. I'm so fortunate to be with you, out of 8 billion people, and I hope you support the Epoch Times, become a subscribers, or donate to us, or make a referrals. Together with your efforts, we can inform and protect human liberty, and we can continue the work that President Lincoln began, a nation united in the pursuit of freedom and equality. And may we together carry his spirit forward as we bring justice and freedom for all. Thank you.
All right, we got just another quick acknowledgement that we bypassed. I'd like to acknowledge Jimmy Wagner, a good friend of Project Civica now, and actually a new Republican. He's an attorney representing the public employees who are unlawfully fired by Mayor Adams. He recently opened the Donald Trump Republican Club in Brooklyn. Thank you, Jimmy. All right, next I'd like to invite up Phil Kuza, founder of the American Conservative Artists Organization, a movement of music and art that upholds conservative values and individual liberties. As a tenor sax player, he plays with such renowned artists as Bon Jovi, Roberta Flack, and Chaka Khan. Phil was honored with the Conservative Artist of the Year Award at last year's Lincoln Dinner.
Thank you, Steve. First of all, I want to congratulate everyone in this room. I'm very proud of you, and I want to give thanks to God Almighty because He heard our prayers and elected Donald J. Trump as the 47th President of the United States. This country was on a bad path. And now we got a patriot in the White House, so we have all patriots here. You know, Donald Trump is a guy who's, you can tell his love for the flag, his love for this country, just by the way he carries himself. He may be a little rough around the edges at times, but that's what we need sometimes. You know, sometimes you need a Mike Tyson fighting in your corner. Not like at the last fight, but at the subsequent fights. And he's a man that comes on stage. He has no shame embracing the flag. He has no shame of honoring God. And, you know, he's somebody that's always stood up for American values and believes in the dream of America, which is prosperity and freedom and the American dream for everyone. And he carries himself that way with pride, and he's proud of this country, as we all are. And let's give a round of applause to Donald J. Trump. And he's a Queens boy, too. Look at that. Well, anyway, you can see the love and the passion. When you meet a patriot, you know you're talking with a patriot. It just comes out. They don't even have to be talking about patriotic things. It could just be the way they carry it themselves, the way they have that pride in this great country, even though this country has its flaws. But that person believes in the dream of America. And in the same way, there's another person I want to talk about here. And speaking of this love of country, there are very few people that carry their patriotism and they wear it as boldly and unapologetically as the next person I'm going to bring in here. This person was just arrested on Monday, okay, fighting for the liberties of this country. He wasn't selling drugs outside or doing something like that, but he was fighting for the American dream, and he was outspoken about it, as he is every day. He's not just an artist, he's a warrior for American values. He uses his talent to paint the story of freedom, courage, and resilience. For decades, I'm talking about Mr. Scott Lebedo. You might see him over there. Acting all cool. For decades, Scott has traveled across this nation, bringing the American flag to life in ways that inspire, provoke, and remind us all of what it means to be truly an American. Somebody said, we went to a recent CPAC thing, and they talked about that we're a nation of migrants. We're not a nation of migrants. We're a nation of former migrants, because now we're Americans. Even though we come from every walk of life and from every country in this world, and this is the one country where we speak every single language. Okay? So that's for America. And Scott embodies that in the way he dedicates himself to his art and just paints and uses his passion. His passion is unmatched. His dedication is unwavering, whether it's through his massive murals, his powerful installations, or his fearless voice in defense of freedoms. Scott stands as a true patriot, one who doesn't just talk about loving this country, but proves it every single day. He's also no stranger to the criminal justice system, as we know. Okay, it's an honor for me to introduce to you all, or that don't know him, and the rest of us know him, some of us as Uncle Scotty, Mr. Scott Lebedo.
Here's the irony of the situation. This guy, Phil, I think he's running a shindig tonight. He had the audacity to come up to me earlier and say, we're running late. You got 2 minutes when everybody else had 20 minutes for his speech. I guess he needs to follow me on social media. I'll only be 3 minutes. Before I just say what I'm going to say quickly, briefly, I want to acknowledge the most important person in this room today. And I want to hear the loudest applause from all of you. For anybody here, including me, I want it to be for this young man. And his name is Jay Carter. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. I've been doing this for 35 years. I've been carrying that patriotic torch. And a lot of us here, we're not spring chickens, most of us. You know, looking on our own. There's a lot of good-looking people here, but we got to pass that torch. And the greatest thing that I've experienced throughout my steady career, just of late, is to see the youth carrying that torch. That's the only way this country survives. So thank you. Thank you, Jay. Anyway, thank you for this award. It's an honor to be amongst all of you awesome people. Of course, we got Papa right here, Rudy Giuliani in the house! I hope you folks know as much as I do that on November 5th, this past November 5th, we almost, I want you to listen to what I'm saying here. And I know this because I've been in this game for a long time. There's a few of us that have been in it for a real long time. And I was scared shitless. Listen to me. We almost lost this country forever. We did. I'm telling you, we really did. And now I feel in my heart, because the guys like this kid, we got another 1,000 years. Strong 1,000 years. Important notice, Donald Trump won. We're all praising Donald Trump, and we should. And we all put him in office. Yeah. No applause. Okay. But I want you people to understand something. Obviously, you know me. I'm out there getting arrested every day, doing my thing, just fighting. People think I like going to jail, and I like having people, you know, slashing my tires and cracking my head open because I don't enjoy it. But it's something that God gave me this gift to do through my art, is to fight. Okay? And yeah, my notes are on my hand. Trump won. But I want you people to listen to me. Okay? I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make right. We cannot be complacent. Donald Trump won. Oh, bunnies and rainbows. We're all going to be fine. Oh, no. There are a lot of fires that are smoldering. You know it, and I know it. And this city.
Warfare.
Everything. Everything. Listen, so Donald Trump's handling the big stuff, and he's going to take care of that. But it's up to us soldiers down the line. As petty as we all are, we are the most important soldiers because we have these lithium battery storage units taking over this city in residential neighborhoods. And these batteries go on fire. I know there's FDNY in here. What happens with them? Nothing. They burn. You can't put them out.
Explode and then everything burns.
Okay, there's a million issues that we still have to cater to. Okay, so what my point is, quickly, he's giving me the eye. Don't sit in that stinky recliner again and watch the Kardashians or the Yankees. Enjoy your freedom. Enjoy the milk and honey. But don't you dare become complacent, because that's why we're in this position in the first place. And I'm going to end with this. Rudy Giuliani. This man, I know him forever, man. I'm going to cry just looking at him. This is what New York was all about. This is what New York was all about. But there's another man in this room wearing a red beret. Where is he? And everybody asks me every day, Scott, you should run for mayor. Everybody, every day. Never. I don't want to get up early, and if I can't have a martini and a cigarette in the Gracie Mansion, I don't want part of it. On a serious note, Curtis Sliwa, I don't care if it was my brother that put his hat in the ring tomorrow for mayor. That man, why? And I'm going to tell you really quickly, because there's no other politician that I have ever met, and I know them all, that goes to every nook and cranny of this city, every ghetto, every ethnicity, every corner of the city, and whether they agree with his politics or not, they love him. That is a New Yorker. That is the next Giuliani, and you better be on top of that. And I will leave you with my motto, that I hope is written on my tombstone. I thank you for this. My motto is be creative, help others, love your country, and take shit from nobody.
All right, he's got it right? All right, next I'd like to bring up Steve Schmidt. He's a proud American First patriot of faith and honor. Steve joined his longtime friend, Joe DeBox, and his team to establish America First Warehouse to advance the America First agenda, save America from tyranny, and fight for truth, justice, and freedom. And I tell you, America First Warehouse is a good friend of Project Civica, and we appreciate it.
Hey, congrats, Queens Village Republican Club, for the remarkable milestone anniversary. Thank you, Joe, Phil, the entire Queens Village Republican Club team, for your relentless work on behalf of America's founding principles to secure a free and prosperous America. So I'm honored to introduce the next honoree, the American Patriot of the Year. Only God, our human agency, and the America First agenda can save, heal, restore our beloved country and its people. Thank you. Amen. God chooses the unexpected. Can I hear amen? Amen. From the Bible, King David, Moses, Samson, Noah, Abraham, Donald J. Trump, the incredible alliance of President Trump, RFK Jr., and Elon Musk. Only God, hallelujah. The next honoree, Joe the Box, founder and owner of the America First Warehouse, is also a prime representation of God choosing the unexpected. I've known Joe the Box for over 25 years, along with his amazing wife and partner, the First Lady of the America First Warehouse, Tony. Joe personifies serving God, family, and country. He exemplifies using your human agency to make a profound, positive difference. Joe is renowned for boldness, boundless energy, and sacrifice. When his business prospered during COVID, when most others would have pocketed the extra money, Joe plowed it into the America First Warehouse because he saw his country in distress. The border invasion, reckless spending, unsustainable debt, and election fraud. And he was determined to do his part to save America, to advance the America First agenda and make America great again, and to save the country from Marxist tyranny. The America First Warehouse is Joe's divine inspiration and creative genius. Truly the most unique patriotic venue in the country. If you haven't been there, please put it on your bucket list to get there soon as possible. It's a gathering place for patriot, fellowship, education, empowerment, entertainment, and live studio productions. Thank you, Joe, for being an inspiration, leading by example, and allowing me and the America First Warehouse team be part of your amazing creation and your unwavering commitment to restoring America and with it, truth, justice, and the American dream. So let's give it up bigly for the American Patriot of the Year, the one and only Joe the Box.
How did this happen, God? I am Joe the Box. I am the America First Warehouse. I am the voice in the wilderness where America comes first, always, never anything else. It's America first or forget it. My warehouse was built, it started in 2016. It started because of tragedy, man. Doesn't tragedy change everybody's life? Lose a boy to fentanyl and you watch what happens to your family. And you can't explain to him why, or them why. And then God said, build it, Joe. You got a message. There's 100,000 lives that are dying every day. Every day with fentanyl. And when my brother and I cried, man, for days we cried. And Donald Trump said, I'm going to stop that fentanyl from coming in. I'm going to stop it at the border. It comes from China. And I said to my brother, we're going to get up and we're going to make this happen. We are going to be the voice in the wilderness. And I know that the voice in the wilderness is We let everybody know. John the Baptist let everybody know that Christ was coming. I wanted you to let you know that Donald Trump is coming. He's coming to this warehouse, and I'm going to fight every day for truth and justice. And I can't do it by myself. I'm going to tell you right now. I have great people. The First Lady of the warehouse, my wife Tony, lets me do it all. I can't believe it sometimes. The Department of Deep Thought, they meet regularly in there. The Department of Deep Thought, Tracy, Teresa, Tony, Steve Mott, Steve Schmid, and they figure out what's happening next, because I don't know. I get up in the morning, and what do, baby? I say, Lord, thank you for this breath that I am breathing right now. What is your will for me today? What will I do to help? What will I do to make this the greatest place on the planet? My father taught me my patriotism because he's a Marine. And my mother brought me to God, and she dragged us to church as much as we hated it. But I know now in my life, after many, many years, that I have a mission. I found God's word and what he needs me to do. And I will never stop to get this country and our lives the way it was. I grew up in a rough neighborhood, Dix Hills. Anybody know where that is? That's right, Zias. You lived in Dix Hills too. You know, so I had the life. My father worked his ass off. And there was a time in life where he would work and be able to raise a family. My mom had 6 kids, 6 children, 3 boys, 3 girls. We were the Brady Bunch. That makes me Peter. I'm not happy about that. My mom brought me to church, and church is important. On Thursday nights, we do prayer and healing at the warehouse. You can come in at 5 o'clock for Bible study with the women's. We will go over the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, because one nation under God is the most important thing at the America First Warehouse. Then we do our prayer and healing on Thursday nights. The great David Zier will be there Monday night, and he'll be hosting an event for John Eastman. John Eastman, one of the greatest legal constitutional minds on the planet that was absolutely destroyed. Very much so like my friend Rudy Giuliani. And I tell people, I was talking to them, and I said, I'm sorry, Rudy's on the phone. I got to go. And Rudy was like, Joe, I said, Rudy, I'm sorry. Tom Holman needs me. I got a phone. And then I said, Tommy, I'm sorry. GF, General Flynn. He needs me too. What am I going to do? I'm going to do exactly what I am doing. I love this country. Mr. Mayor, you are an incredible inspiration for everybody in New York. I'm going to leave you with one quick story on the mayor because I really loved it. I haven't been able to tell it because we was on the hush-hush. I saw newspapers were all in the city, and they were in front of Rudy Giuliani's house. And these people were so excited to go upstairs and take everything that Rudy Giuliani had done in his house and his home and he lived with, his underwear, his socks. They didn't care. They wanted it all. And they were so excited to go upstairs, and I was like excited to see this myself. When they got upstairs and the cameras all clicked, you know what they saw? They saw nothing. Joe the Box emptied it out the week before. Me and Johnny did it. Because they're not going to get it. I love you, Mayor. I love this country. I love this. Thank you, Queens Village. Crank it up, baby.
That's what you call a piece of work. Okay? That's definitely a piece of work. And a patriot. All right. Next up, we got Miranda Devine. Okay, she's going to come to us by Zoom. Miranda is a New York Post columnist, Fox News contributor, and author. She also worked for Australian media. Born in Queens, New York, she grew up in Japan and Australia and attended Northwest University in Chicago. She was a reformed mathematician and a mother of two. She lives in New York City with a husband. The 2021 book, The Laptop from Hell, is a USA Today and Wall Street Journal bestseller. Her latest book, The Big Guy, How a President and His Son Stole America, chronicles the corruption of the Biden crime family and how our government protected the Bidens from consequences of their reckless greed. So I would like to turn it over right now, and Miranda could take it from here. Thank you. Hold 1 minute, please. A little technical difficulty.
Any lip readers in the crowd?
All right, as they fix that, I'd like to tell a little story about...
Who's got what number?
There it is. There it is.
Yeah, almost. Good hit.
All right, just a quick story about Mayor Giuliani. First time I met the man. It was in the 1990s when the New York Yankees were strong, and everybody knows Mayor Giuliani. He's a tremendous Yankee fan. What happened, I brought my two sons, 10 and 8 years old, to Yankee Stadium for the first time to see a Yankee game. We were able to get tickets up pretty close, and at the entrance, to go into the entrance where Mayor Giuliani would come in, hoping maybe we could see them. So he comes walking in the door there, and I said, Mr. Mayor, you know, can you come over and see my sons? He goes over, I grab my 10-year-old's hat, and I says, Mr. Mayor, could you sign my son's hat? And he takes out his marker, and he signs it. Just quick, you're going to have to hold. Okay, signs my hat for my oldest son.
Hi, how are you? It's Miranda Devine.
All right, never mind.
Good evening, everybody. It's an honour to be back with you again at the Queen's Village Republican Club Lincoln Dinner. And I'm sorry that I can't be there in person, but I can't get away from my desk some days because I have to write tomorrow's column for Monday's paper. And this time, tomorrow's column could not be more appropriate for this occasion when I have the honour of introducing Mayor Rudy Giuliani. And don't we wish that he was still our mayor? Now, I would never have had the scoop for the New York Post on Hunter Biden's laptop from hell if it had not been for Mayor Giuliani, who, for some strange reason, decided to trust this New York-born Australian transplant with this momentous story, whose consequences still echo because they involve the corruption of Joe Biden, then the Vice President, and then, of course, the President, you know, it's also tied up with Ukraine and has embroiled us in a war that, as President Trump says, risks World War III. And we saw just on Friday in that contentious Oval Office meeting between President Trump and Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky that this issue is a sore point. President Trump brought up Hunter Biden's laptop from hell in the context of all the phony Russia witch hunts deployed against him, which recklessly risked the relationship with Russia and risked a threat of war with Russia. Trump was impeached for simply asking Zelensky back in 2019 to look into the Joe Biden, Hunter Biden corruption to do with that Ukrainian oil company Burisma. Hunter Biden was getting a lot of money, $83,000 a month, and Trump knew what was going on because Rudy Giuliani knew what was going on in Ukraine. Rudy Giuliani was in his first term, and it was a dirty business in Ukraine, and it was done to cover up corruption. The Democrats and their patsies in the media were willing to recklessly use Russia as their foil to cover up for Joe Biden, to cover up for other corruption, and to get Trump. They came after him with the initial Russia hoax. They came after him with the impeachment. They came after him with the dirty 51 intelligence officials, mostly CIA, who lied that Hunter Biden's laptop and therefore our stories in the New York Post were Russian disinformation. And now, for a fourth time, they are doing another Russia hoax, calling Donald Trump a Putin puppet because he is trying to end the Ukraine-Russia war. He is trying to act as an impartial mediator between Ukraine and Russia to bring to an end 3 years of bloody conflict. This is wicked, wicked behaviour, and it involves the CIA and the FBI covering up for Joe Biden and lying about Russia for their own political benefit to rig the 2020 election on behalf of Joe Biden to make sure Donald Trump didn't get a second term. But thanks to the American people, Donald Trump did get a second term, just a little delay. And now he's flipping the tables and trying to stop this war that never should have started, as he says. And thanks to Rudy Giuliani, the American people learned the truth. And I'll say just one last thing before I hand over to Rudy. He has been right about everything. He has suffered enormously for telling the truth. The FBI spied on him, which is probably how they knew that he had the Hunter Biden hard drive back in 2020, and they probably also intercepted my messages with him in October of 2020, which would have told them that the New York Post was about to publish. And that's how the FBI knew to intervene with the social media companies and lie to them that there would be a Russian hack and leak operation, likely in October of 2020 and likely involving Hunter Biden. So when our stories were published on October 14, 2020, Facebook and Twitter knew immediately that this is what the FBI had warned them about, and they censored the New York Post, the oldest newspaper in America, and at that point the 4th largest by circulation. Now, far worse was done to Rudy Giuliani. He is a true American hero. He has been through a lot of battles, but now he stands before you, battled but unvanquished. Thank you, and I hand back to Rudy Giuliani.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Well, after all that applause, and I'm just going to sit down. There's nothing I can say. There's nothing I can say. I could do my mafia imitation. So it's very nice of all you people to have me here. Families from different parts of Queens and Brooklyn and some of the places around. This is not too far, for I used to have
wire on the Bonanno family. I won't tell you where it was. It's about 8 blocks away. When I drive through the city, I look at the places that I had wired. Even the best one of all was the the office building on Lexington Avenue that was used only on a Tuesday night by Matty the Horse Ionella. Matty was in charge of sort of refereeing the disputes between the private sanitation companies that dominated New York. You couldn't have anything but a mafia-controlled private sanitation company if you were a small store or you were the biggest hospital in the city. It's a multi-billion-dollar business, and they were multi-millionaires. But each family had their own set of routes, set up for years, and they were constantly fighting. A new guy would come in, take a route, they'd have a fight, and somebody get killed. And the mob decided that Matty, everybody trusted Matty because Matty was basically a gambler. Matty, unlike most of the maniacs in the mafia, didn't like to kill. He liked to play the horses. That's why he was Matty the Horse. And everybody trusted him. So we said, we're going to put Matty in charge, and every week, if we have a dispute, instead of killing each other, we're going to bring it to Matty. So this was like Judge Judy. Matty would sit up there, about 4 guys on one side, 4 guys on another side, who all look right out of The Sopranos. And one guy would get up and say, that Rocco over there took my route, what I had for 20 years, and he just came in at I'm in the Bronx, and he's in Brooklyn, and he took my route. I'm going to whack him. And Matty would say, no, you can't whack him, we got to work it out. And then Rocco would get up and say, hey, Salvatore, that's for you. You weren't giving good service. And then they'd almost start a fight. Matty had settled it down. And none of them knew that I was watching it on television. About 3 hours after it happened, because I got the FBI to get in there on a weekend and wire it for sound and for video. And I did that to Castellano, to poor fat Tony Salerno, to Carmine Persico, who put out a cheap $400,000 contract to kill me. She's worth a lot more than that. So, after dealing with those guys, this stuff isn't, these are a bunch of pussies. A bunch of pussies. The worst thing they are, really, the worst thing they are is they're anti-American. And most of them are doing the bidding, some absolutely knowingly, and others because they're consumed with greed, and others because they're consumed with ego, and others because they're just plain stupid. They're doing the bidding of the communist movement. And they've been doing it in this country since Woodrow Wilson. And it's dominated the Democrat Party. And we've always been afraid to say that. I mean, Poland wouldn't have been under the Soviets if Truman weren't surrounded by communists. Because Patton could have taken Poland like that. He was held back because Roosevelt fell in love with Uncle Joe. He forgot that Uncle Joe was a mass murderer, a killer. And as Churchill used to try to remind him, we did that, you know, we did that out of necessity. We really don't like him. But by that time, Roosevelt was almost as demented as Biden, and was surrounded by one communist after another. Remember, Stalin began the war as Hitler's ally, then made the terrible mistake of, Hitler made the terrible mistake of attacking him, or he would remain with the Nazis. So they have been infiltrating us for a long, long time. You know all about other parts of my career. You don't know that in the Justice Department, I helped to establish the FISA court. And under President Reagan, I spent half my time doing cases against Russian spies. So I know them really, really well. But as your paper, the Epoch Times, brilliantly informs you, and you should get it, the Chinese infiltration makes the Russians look like amateurs. It really does. My goodness, they've infiltrated not the obvious, but everything, right to our schools. Teachers union. It's a communist union. It's an absolute communist union. It has no concern for the children. The children mean nothing in the teachers union. When I was the mayor, the communist who now runs the national union ran the city union. And I would offer her, major raises for the best teachers. And really good raises for the teachers I evaluated as better than average. And average raises for the average teachers. And no raises or kick them out for the lousy teachers. She said, you can't rate teachers. I said, you can't rate anything quite accurately, but you can get pretty damn close. I mean, you can tell the difference between a 350 hitter and a 250 hitter. And you can tell the difference when kids are passing and kids are failing, right? And you can tell the difference where a class is actually out of control and a class that isn't. And if you don't measure, you don't achieve anything. And they don't want to measure because they represent the worst teachers, not the best teachers, which is why the best teachers leave. And the children, children don't mean anything. The New York City Board of Education is a disgrace. It's not a board of education. It's a communist job protection system so that you can be a teacher for a little while and then become a bureaucrat and then a higher bureaucrat and then a higher bureaucrat. So there's a bureaucrat overlooking a bureaucrat, overlooking a bureaucrat, overlooking a bureaucrat with a teacher that works, I don't know, like they do in France. Really doesn't work. Now, don't get mad. I know we're supposed to say all teachers are wonderful. There are a lot of good teachers, but all teachers are not wonderful. And if they were really wonderful, they'd quit that goddamn union. Because that goddamn union is killing our kids. And if we don't change it, we might as well not compete against China or anybody else. Since I left being mayor, the cost of education has doubled per student. And we've gone down by about 40% in math and English. We can't read. We can't add. And the teachers are making 2.5 times more. Bloomberg gave them a raise, ridiculous, 18, 19% raise. For teaching our kids, as they say in Italian, ugats. You've got to hold people accountable. And the fact that they fight to the death, charter schools, which are the hope for the black and Hispanic community, the hope out, tells you that they're not only communist in the sense of their social views, they're communist in the sense that they want an indentured population that they control. And they do it in the American poor cities, and they do it with minorities. And they make them indentured servants that vote for them, and now are beginning to not vote for them, which is why they open the damn borders. Because they're afraid that they're not going to have. The Democrat Party is afraid it is not going to have a constituency. My goodness, how could they possibly have a constituency? We have a justice on the Supreme Court who can't define what a woman is. She should have been thrown out of the committee. Get out of here. If you can't define a woman, how the hell are you going to read a statute? Out. There are basic things the Republican Party now stands for. Here, in Nassau County, all over the country, and it really is a matter of common sense. We went through a terrible, terrible 4 years. Maybe longer, really. I sort of trace it, the beginning of it back to Clinton. But in any event, the last 4 years, I would say, was the darkest days in American history as far as rights were concerned. Civil rights, human rights, dedication to our Constitution. Our Constitution was trashed. They made a mockery out of it. And you could hardly tell the difference sometimes between an American court and a Nazi court. You could hardly tell the difference between a court in Manhattan and a court in China. Now, there's a reason for that. And whoever is interested in the mayor's election that's coming up, remember, here's the biggest problem with New York City. It's corrupt. Major league corrupt. And it has been for over 150 years. You go back to Boss Tweed. You have a couple of breaks in that. One of them's called LaGuardia. One of them's called Giuliani, and the third one is Bloomberg. Find me another one. I put half of Koch's administration in jail, so don't tell me Ed Koch. He just didn't know, because his head was up there, or maybe someplace else. Hey, this is not a game. People's lives depend on your, as we see with President Trump compared to President Biden, people's lives depend on your honesty, your integrity, and your competence. How many people are dead in Ukraine, Ukrainian and Russian, that would not be dead if they hadn't cheated in 2020 and Donald Trump were the president? How about over 1 million people? Would not have happened. You think Iran would have empowered Hamas to go into Israel if Donald Trump was sitting there? The Ayatollah, when the Israelis blew up the devices, remember? Wasn't that great? Yeah. By the way, Bibi Netanyahu was our president for a year. He was kicking the hell out of the proxy groups of Iran that kill Americans. We were sitting back and letting them kill Americans because for some reason Obama and Biden love the Ayatollah. Prince Obama should be in jail for giving the Ayatollah cash. 100 million in cash. What the hell did he think the cash was for? Maybe we give Zelensky cash. I don't know. You know, I can't watch that guy. I can't look at him. I go back 4 years ago. Zelensky is a creature of probably the crookedest oligarch in Ukraine, Kolomoisky, who ran Bank Privat and laundered money, laundered away the money of the Ukrainian people. And why the hell would we let him stay there and pretend we're helping the Ukrainian people? It's crazy. That guy has been sucking their blood since he became a stupid actor working for Kolomoisky, who made him a millionaire or billionaire. He is hiding, covering up massive evidence of crime in his country and our country. I've seen the damn files. He could sue the oligarchs in Ukraine and get back half the money that we gave him because they stole it from the Ukrainian people. So don't give me this garbage about Democrats trying to help the Ukrainian people. Democrats and the Ukrainian government have raped the Ukrainian people. That's what happens when you pay $10 million bribes and $20 million bribes and $50 million bribes. When Yashchenko ran away in 2014, do you know how much money was left in the Ukrainian treasury? $800,000. They took out $100 billion through Kolomoisky, who was the guy that created that little creep that was in the White House the other day. I was hoping he would stand up and Vance would stand up, and then we wouldn't see him anymore. Maybe just a little, remember in The Godfather, when he puts him up, puts Frank Stone up, the singer, and he says, "Be a man." That's what Vance should have done. Put him up on a desk Slap around the world. Be a man. Be a man. Go after the crooks in your country and get the money. We're gonna end up this whole thing, and we're gonna end up with a Ukraine. That's one of the most corrupt countries in the world. That's what it is. The people are wonderful. The people are terrific. They're religious. They're educated. They want to be hardworking. And since they came out of communism, out of 8 prime ministers and presidents, they've had only one honest one. And he got poisoned. Well, by Putin. The present one is not honest. Not a guy who sits on massive crimes and became a multimillionaire from an organized crime oligarch. Well, we've come through this dark period, and now, oh my goodness, the light is terrific, isn't it? The sunlight is terrific. Maybe it looks even better because of what we went through. And through it all, doesn't it underscore that we're not the smartest people in the world? In the New York Times, that's their problem. They think they're the smartest people in the world. So did Karl Marx. Karl Marx thought he was smarter than God. He even thought for a while he was Satan. So when you think about communism, think about the satanic part of communism. It's big. But our founding fathers were geniuses, weren't they? The Democrats for 4 years trashed everything that they gave us. Our freedom of religion, God is gone. No God, we don't need God. We're smarter than God. Maybe that's where we start. We bring God back. Huh? I would say to anyone that doesn't believe in God, if you don't, it's still better that we have God back. Because you're going to have a more coherent, a more orderly, and a more moral society if you have some basis for it. And not materialistic, atheistic communism. Second, we need freedom of speech. Freedom of speech means we can say the worst things, even the things that we can't stand, we have to listen to. And I don't mind listening to them. I listen to them all the time. Because when I listen to them long enough, they make jerks out of themselves, idiots out of themselves. Just watch them on MSNBC or CNN or NBC or ABC or CBS. What fools, absolute, complete fools. They don't know anything about world history. They don't know anything about geography. They're just a bunch of fools. Let them talk. Well, since we've been doing that, and we have this new media, you know, I think I don't know if we don't have 50% of the American people now listening to the alternative media. We're pretty darn close. Pretty darn close. We do. I think we do. And I have to say, before I conclude, that the Epoch Times is the best insight that you will get into China and into this country. And here's why you have to get an insight into China. This is unfortunately too similar to the 1930s when Hitler was telling us you can take over the world. And Chamberlain sat back and said, oh, we'll give him Sudetenland. And by the way, he did it in Munich. He gave away Europe, gave away America, gave away the Western world in Munich, which is where Vance went to tell those guys, wake up or get the hell out of the way. By those guys, I mean Western Europe. Who the hell needs them if they're not going to fight and defend freedom, and if they're not going to respect free speech and freedom of religion? We don't need them. We've got Eastern Europe, we have Asia, we have new countries in Africa, we got plenty of places. Man, I could put together a terrific alliance with the United States and a real ally, Israel. Israel has fought for us. Israel has died for us. Ronald Reagan told me, you know why I'm a big supporter of Israel? Got nothing to do with how many Jews vote for Republicans or Democrats. I don't give a damn. A nation has very few good friends, just like a person. Maybe we have 2 or 3. And Israel's our good friend. you'd have no idea what Israel's done for us, because we can't tell you. That's why Israel and the United States and Japan. You know how afraid a lot of China is of Japan? Rearm them. South Korea, Taiwan, maybe India, maybe not. I think so. Eastern Europe, Poland, for sure. Lithuania kicked China out. Little country like that kicked China out because they just came out of communism and they know what it's like. So we've got plenty of alternatives. Eastern Europe, almost every country there would be our ally. And if we arm them properly, boy, they can fight because they know what freedom means. The French, this is one last joke. I told President Reagan, no, it was President Trump. Oh my gosh, I got him confused. That's not bad, right? I told President Trump, you want a quick victory, like conquer a country? This was before he was going after Canada and Greenland. I said, why don't you declare war on France? Macron will he'll give up. You can, yes, no, you can have it, yes. You know, when they join us in NATO, the French soldiers don't fight. The Americans fight, the Canadians fight, the English used to fight, and the Australians. And the French sit back, wait for them to come back. So that's got to stop too. You better get up here at 5%. You better ready to defend yourself. And when we go to war together, damn it, you don't sit back there like a bunch of you-know-whats. You fight. We put together an alliance like that, and we'll overwhelm China. And we won't have to worry. And then at home, if we just keep doing what we're doing, you know what Trump and Vance are doing? They're reestablishing everything taught to us by our founding fathers. It's really simple. Read the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, and you will see what they're doing. Absolutely. And Scott Lebedo was absolutely right. 1,000 years more if we can keep it. Depends on us. How tough are we? How willing are we to get involved? And when we get pushed, like I said about the teachers union, damn, how many Nazi prison guards are you going to have? When you're being asked to do immoral things, when you're being asked to hurt children, when you're being asked to carry out orders like some of those FBI agents, putting shackles on Peter Navarro, damn it, I don't think I put shackles on anybody. And I arrested real criminals, murderers, multi-murderers, terrorists, 2 Nazis. I didn't put shackles on them. I didn't bring CNN there. You know who does that? Fascists. And they're calling us neo-Nazis? To hell with them. They're the neo-Nazis. They're the communists. And we're the people who believe in the America given to us by our forefathers, and we're going to give it to our children that way. And thank you, America first. I love you.
That was amazing. That was amazing. If we sit for 1 second, okay? 1 second. We just want to talk real quickly. We have elections in November for the New York City. We got elections in 26 for the mayor, for the governor, and for the state legislature. We have to start working now to try to make a difference in those 2 elections. Anybody that's interested, You go to projectcivica.org, sign up to become a committeeman. We'll get you through the process. The fight for New York is on. It starts now, but the Viennese hour is first. So everybody just sit back. Yeah. Everybody be careful. The lights are going to go down. There's going to be some fireworks. Let the Viennese tables come in.
All right, folks, real quick, last call for raffles. Last call for raffles. Also, I have a very important question for you. How many people in this room have not yet signed up to become members of the Queens Village Republican Club? You can be honest.